Do you feel like your acne is being triggered by something that you're eating, but you can't quite tell? Today, I'm going to share the top 7 acne triggering foods, but spoiler alert, I am not going to tell you not to eat certain foods, but I am going to tell you which foods could be triggering your acne. It's a tricky line to walk, but we're gonna do it today. More than anything though, I want you to know after you watch this that there is no food that's going to give you cystic acne in 3 days. If you eat an Oreo yesterday, you will not break out tomorrow. It is not like eat an Oreo, get acne. I love an Oreo and I don't have acne anymore. And number 2, there are specific habits that you may be implementing every day that could be leading to acne breakouts for you. So I want you to keep those 2 things in mind. There is no one food on one day in 1 hour that's going to cause your acne. And number 2, there are some specific habits that you could be doing that could be breaking you out. So today I'm going to share 9 foods that could be causing inflammation, 2 main themes to focus on to start to heal your acne naturally with food, and what I would do instead of focusing on all the foods that you can't eat. Let's go. Hi there, my name is Therese, and after 15 years of acne struggles, I finally cleared my skin naturally and created my acne clearing program, the Clear Code, to help you do the same. 10 years and thousands of clients later, I've made it my life's work to get you clear skin without harsh chemicals, pills, and/or creams. So make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new one. First things first, there are food allergies and there are food sensitivities. They are very, very different. Food allergies are intense. They're EpiPen worthy, right? Usually nuts, seeds, tree nuts. We all know someone who has a severe food allergy. You do not mess with those, okay? Food sensitivities, intolerances, totally different ballgame. Totally different world. Functional medicine breaks food sensitivities down into 2 different categories. They're either cyclical or fixed. Cyclical sensitivities, which is what I see the most of, can be healed over time by addressing gut health issues and then slowly reintroduced to watch and to adjust how much you consume, and based on a bunch of different factors, you can usually add them back in fine. For example, I used to have a food intolerance or a sensitivity to broccoli. I ate it the other day. I'm here, I'm doing well. Fixed sensitivities don't go away similarly, and even if you don't eat them for a long time, they can provoke kind of inflammatory response. So you have to be careful. Again, always honor any type of food intolerance or sensitivity or allergy that a doctor has diagnosed you with, and definitely know that certain food intolerances, if they are light or mild, can potentially be addressed over time by addressing some gut health stuff. Let's discuss. The most common food allergies that exist that people can be reactive to are gluten grains, dairy, soy, corn, eggs, citrus, peanuts, tree nuts, shellfish. Okay? There are less common, but other foods that are still known to cause reactions are alkaloids in potatoes, nuts, and other nightshades, theobromine in chocolates, caffeine in tea and coffee, amines like histamine in fermented foods, certain tyramines in cheese, sausages, sauerkraut, and oxalic acid in rhubarb, certain leafy vegetables. I can never say that word. And I've seen everything from brewer's yeast to kale to garlic. Like, I'll never say never when it comes to food sensitivities. That being said, you can see with this huge list of things that it becomes difficult to truly identify what's actually happening, because a lot of times our food sensitivities or our food intolerances are subtle and could potentially be due to other issues. And like I mentioned, most of our food sensitivities are actually due to an unhealthy gut. There is a gut-skin axis that was proposed by 2 doctors, John H. Stokes and Donald M. Pillsbury, years and years ago. They basically proposed that when and if you use Lactobacillus acidophilus cultures to improve the health of the gut, you could positively impact the skin. And these 2 doctors were correct, which basically launched this whole theory around gut health and how it impacted the rest of your body. It's basically been called our second brain. It's where a lot of our serotonin is produced. Like, a lot of stuff happens in our gut, right? And the main reason we could struggle with light, moderate food sensitivities or intolerances actually has to do with a unbalanced gut. So unbalanced microbiome, gut dysbiosis, which can usually mean you have a growth of too many of the wrong types of bacteria called opportunistic bacteria. You have low levels of beneficial bacteria. And then as a result, you can deal with intestinal permeability, AKA leaky gut, which can then make it difficult for you to absorb nutrients, assimilate nutrients, and even react positively to nutrients. So let's say your gut health isn't optimal, things aren't doing great, you have the wrong type of bacteria, you have an irritated gut lining, maybe some gastritis, like all these different things. And then you grab something like gluten or dairy or soy or caffeine. Your stomach hurts, you have diarrhea right away, you're constipated for days. It's all linked. So a lot of dealing with food sensitivities or intolerances actually leads back to gut health. Spoiler alert, a lot of things lead back to Here are some common signs and symptoms of food sensitivities that could impact your acne. Let me know how many you resonate with. So number one, you eat wheat and your stomach hurts, for example. You feel like you have an emotional attachment to foods. You feel bloated or have indigestion, you're constipated, you have diarrhea, you have vaginal yeast infections, you have eczema outbreaks or other skin rashes, you have acne. You have a history of antibiotic use. You take non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, so things like ibuprofen or naproxen. You take antacids, you have gas, diarrhea after meals, you get hives on your face, bloating, diarrhea after eating. I have a feeling if you're watching this video, you probably said yes to a lot of those. Okay, and it's okay. What do we do now with this information and how it impacts your skin, first of all? As these foods and these food challenges relate to your acne, the theme that I want you to know is that if you are dealing with food sensitivities or intolerances, the key is not necessarily to remove all of those foods and never eat them again and then you will have clear skin. The key is to properly identify which foods are potentially causing issues while repairing your gut health. As you repair your gut health, you will be more able to sustain and tolerate different types of foods. There are basically 5 ways that we can start to repair your gut health to make it so that you can eat more foods and eat more of the things that I just mentioned. Number 1, you want to balance your blood sugar. You don't want these big spikes and troughs in blood glucose levels and insulin levels. You want even blood sugar throughout the day, within reason. Number 2, you want to heal your gut microbiome by addressing the 4 R's of gut health. You want to remove potentially offending issues. You want to re-inoculate with healthy bacteria, like I mentioned. You want to repair with healthy bacteria, probiotic foods, kimchi, sauerkraut, kombucha. And then you want to reintroduce foods. That's usually how it goes. Is if you know something that you eat drives your stomach crazy and might cause your acne, let's take it out and add a new substitute. And then over time, as we heal the rest of your gut with healthy probiotics, we can start to slowly add it back in and you can usually tolerate it really well. 3, you want to nourish your hormones and your liver specifically to support detoxification so that you're efficiently moving toxins out. 4, you're going to replace these gut irritating foods with better substitutes most of the time. And then 10% of the time, you're going to have a donut and live free. And 5, you're going to fill your body up with so many veggies and so much proteins and fats that you're going to feel great, you're going to feel satiated, nourished, and you're going to have the right amount of vitamins and minerals as much as your body can assimilate and use. So instead of focusing on all the things that we can't eat, let's focus on the things that we can eat instead. So what we're going to do is discuss how we can easily create a lower glycemic, gut health balancing, liver detoxification diet plan that supports you, that again, allows you to have some pizza and eat a donut every now and then. I wanted to share some of the common substitutes that I use, that I tell my clients to use for simple cravings. So let's say I'm craving Oreos, Starburst Mini Reds, and Cheetos. Who me? Here are some great substitutes. If and when I'm craving Oreos or Starburst Mini Reds, that usually means that I'm wanting some type of sugar, right? So instead of that, I'm gonna grab blueberries or I'm gonna grab some dark chocolate with some almond butter. Now listen, if you told me to grab blueberries instead of Starburst Mini Reds, I'd probably laugh at you. So I understand if you're laughing at me right now, but I'm telling you, number 1, it's just a habit. You're grabbing higher glycemic foods as a habit. The faster you can get out of that, the better. And one of the ways that you can adjust that habit is to just grab something else instead. I promise you, because I've done this, if you grab blueberries instead of Starburst Mini Reds, you will be mostly satiated and you won't want the Starburst Mini Reds anymore and you'll feel good because you just had blueberries and they're so good for you. Same goes for the dark chocolate and the almond butter. Hear me out on this next one, take a deep breath. If you're craving Cheetos or like Doritos or something salty, that can sometimes tell you that you're dealing with some potential mineral deficiencies. And for that, I would grab seaweed. Dried seaweed. Get the teriyaki version, get any flavor you want. There's so many brands now. Grab that instead. Now again, I know I just told you to eat seaweed instead of Cheetos. I'm aware that that could be perceived as annoying, but I promise it's better for you. It's better for your thyroid. Your thyroid loves seaweed. It will actually satiate that salt craving, so you don't have to keep eating something salty that's actually gonna deplete you from a nutrient perspective long-term anyways and won't actually satiate the craving, and it'll start a new habit. From a gut health perspective, make sure that you are grabbing your daily probiotic first thing in the morning and then have sauerkraut in your fridge and just put it on the side of your breakfast every day. So that if and when you're having, let's say you really want a blueberry muffin for breakfast, for example, you know there's gluten, you know there's sugar, and you're worried that it's gonna bother your skin. If you grab a healthy probiotic, and if you have some nuts on the side of that blueberry muffin, and you have some sauerkraut after, I don't think sauerkraut and blueberry muffin are a good combo, but you could have sauerkraut after, or even a little bit before. you're still doing all of these other things that are going to nourish your gut health, so that perhaps over the long term, your gut health impact from that blueberry muffin won't be so intense. Again, I really combined some things there, so it was kind of a reach, but I think you get what I'm saying. From a hormonal balancing perspective, making kombucha a daily routine or a dandelion tea a nightly routine is a really great way. Instead of grabbing something like a Coke for dinner, have some kombucha on the side. It's literally better for you. Instead of having a Coke or a Diet Coke after dinner, let's say you wanted something sweet, make some dandelion tea with some sugar, literally add sugar. It's still really good for you, and it's creating a new habit that supports estrogen detoxification. Instead of having your milk-laden latte every day, which is delicious, let's be clear. You don't have to stop having latte or stop having caffeine. Just try oat milk instead. It might be a great substitution that you can slowly adjust over time. What foods to avoid for acne clearing? There are 9 commonly triggering acne foods that I shared at the beginning: gluten, dairy, soy, corn, eggs, citrus, peanuts, tree nuts, shellfish. That being said, most of the time, you are dealing with food allergies because of gut health issues that can be positively impacted by a lower glycemic diet, re-inoculating your gut with healthy bacteria, and balancing your hormones out so that you have proper detoxification systems in place. If and when you do those 3 things, low glycemic diet, gut health support and rehab, shall we say, and hormonal balancing for detoxification, that'll make it so that you don't even have to worry about which foods to avoid. I eat all the foods and my skin is still clear because I have a really healthy and really good gut. So that is what I want you to know. This was like a sneaky video. I definitely told you which foods to avoid, but I also don't want you to avoid any foods. That being said, if you want more information on the science behind acne clearing, head to my Root Acne Triggers webinar below. In that webinar, we go over the 7 main root acne triggers, plus I give you 9 action steps you can take to start to clear your acne naturally over time in a way that's really customized for you and your skin. I also share information on my acne clearing program, the Clear Codes. If you want more information, again, check out that link below and we'll go from there. And if you know someone who has been struggling with food allergies or feeling like, oh, if I touch this food, it's gonna bother me, please send them this video. I want them to know that their food intolerances that might be linked to their acne is actually probably linked to gut health stuff. And if and when they address that, they might be able to eat more of the things that they love. Okay? Thank you so much for being here. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video. See you in the next one.